At first, when I walked into the new student dialogue, I really didn't know what to expect. I mean, I came in and there was about, I'd say, maybe 20 or so people. Everyone's sitting in a chair, not really knowing what to expect, just sitting in silence, waiting to be instructed. But when the instructors started talking, they really engaged. They really engaged the group, and people became more, I'd say, comfortable in their surroundings. And we just started to discuss body image, which was the topic of the new student dialogue. And by the end of the by the end of the new student dialogue, you really felt like you kind of connected with more people, and you could kind of sympathize with like stories they told, which was really nice. So they started out with kind of like some pictures of like people that before they were photoshopped and after they were photoshopped, and they were kind of showing us like, this the way celebrities are portrayed in a magazine really isn't the way they look in reality, which was kind of eye-opening for a lot of people, I'd say. And then the activity that I really remember doing was we had to draw our perfect Ken, like a Ken doll, because Barbie and Ken are so like stereotypical, like the perfect like little dolls, and they were saying like if you had a Ken in real life, like how would he look? And everyone's kind of looked like a little bit different, but most of them are the same, like the tall, dark, and handsome, which I thought was kind of creative and funny. It kind of like got us to like relax a little bit and like laugh because like some of the drawings were so like ridiculous. So it also showed us that like our perception of like attractive, it could be different depending on like races, depending on like age, depending on like anything. Like, some people don't like all the same types of qualities in like a guy or a girl, and it was just kind of like cool to like see what each group kind of like came up with. So overall, I really think that we worked well together. No one knew anyone. Um, Everyone was kind of like a little nervous at first, but the new student dialogue got everyone to like open up about like their true feelings and like their body image, because that's a really big issue today in the world. Girls like and guys also. Everyone's like struggling with their body image, and there's like things like eating disorders, which we also covered in the new student dialogue, and a lot of people came forward about their own stories, which I thought was really cool. It takes a lot to be able to talk about something so intense to people you hardly even know, which was, I thought, really like courageous if you were going to come forward and give like a personal story, because there were quite a few people who did that. Um, Everybody kind of had an active voice. I think that everybody in the room spoke at least once or twice, no matter what they said. Everyone contributed a lot. I remember I gave a story. I was talking to my sister and I, like competition between sisters, like growing up with like body images and stuff like that. There were more reserved voices in the dialogue. Naturally, some people are more shy. I'm not the most outgoing person myself, but I really think that everyone was given a chance to say what they wanted to say and get their point across. There were also active voices, people who had really struggled with body image as they had grown up. And, there are people from South Carolina, there are people from California in our group. I'm from New Jersey, so we got to experience how, like, everybody, no matter where you come from, like, there's always that struggle with body image. So, it was really cool to see that no one really felt alone. There were guys who talked about their body image problem. There were girls who talked about one of them talked about being ballerina and how that affected her image of her body, like how she saw herself, which I thought was really interesting. And, like comparisons to siblings, when you grow up. And overall, I'd say the new student dialogue was a lot better than I expected. I didn't really know what to like make of it at first, but as we started to get talking, our instructors were really gracious and really helpful. They weren't judgmental in the slightest bit, and they were really looking to like share their stories as well, which I thought was really neat. They kind of, one of them was, I think, from somewhere in South America, and she was talking about the differences between here and like another country. So I thought that was interesting as well. So overall, I would say the New Student Dialogue really exceeded my expectations, and I would recommend it for further years.